Hi, this is just a quick video on testing and validation. So I'm going to take you through a couple of tests that you should actually be doing when you actually complete your website. So the first one we're actually going to look at is the the validation for the HTML markup. Okay, so the W3C have a number of validators which are actually available. So we're actually going to look through that bit. Okay, so where can you find it? Well, the W3C validator is found at the validator.w3.org website, which we're actually going to use. So let's actually have a look at that. So go onto that website. What we actually have there, I'll just actually move this so we're actually looking at it. So this is the actual validation service, the W3C markup validation service, found at the validator.w3.org. So this will actually check the markup that you're actually that your website has, or your HTML markup. So you can actually validate via a URI. So if you have your website hosted, you can actually place in the URI there, the address, and that will actually check the markup on that. You can actually validate by file upload. So you can actually upload the file, which is what we're going to actually do today, or you can actually do validate by direct input, which is a matter of copying and pasting and placing the markup in here and then hitting the check. So let's actually do the validate by file upload. So select that tab, hit the browse. Actually going to have a look at this one. Okay, so once you've got it uploaded, do your check. It will just take a couple of minutes to actually check. You can actually see here it has actually found 31 errors, 15 warnings. Don't worry too much about the warnings, it's the errors that we have to take care of. You can actually see from this report that it's looking at the HTML5 markup, so it's actually looking at the errors relating to that. So let's actually go down, let's have a look. So as you can actually see, the first error that we have is on line 17, column 17. So this will actually show you in your markup where the error is, and it will give you a description of what is actually incorrect, what you need to actually choose. This one here says the element logo not allowed as a child element header in this content. Okay, so if you look at that, you can actually click onto here for further descriptions. So for instance, this link just okay, will actually tell you about the header element. Okay, so it actually describes the error and how it should actually be used. Oops, I've got a web page cannot be displayed section on here. I'll just actually hit to, I'll just go back. Dear me. So let's actually look and see if we can actually find that. Sorry about that. Okay, so actually got a lot of pop-ups happening here. So so that will actually describe how you actually use the header element, and it gives you a description. So if you're not quite sure what the error is, just actually take a look at the explanations there. That's the quick thing and to do. Okay, so I'm actually going to have to, because I've gone out of there, I'll go there and I'll actually browse that again and actually place that bit of code there, and I'll just go through the next ones. It's just going through its check again. So look at line 17. Probably if you're still not sure what's actually happening there, open up the code and actually have a look at it. So let's have a quick look at the code itself, which I actually have it in here. So let's just open up that and actually have a look at that code. So we can actually see what's actually happening. Here we've got line 17, which it actually states we've got logo ID equals logo. Okay. And also, I think the issue is here we've actually closed it off with a closing logo, but there is no element tag for a logo. So really what this should have happened is that this error here should contain a closing div tag. Okay, so that's the issue with this error in regards to that. So you just need to work your way through those errors. I'll just actually have a look at the next one. So this one on line 18, it says column 39. So the image element must have an alternative attribute. So for every image that you have, it must contain alternate text or ALT text. So it's just a matter of going in there and actually placing an alt tag in there, and it's describing what that image is. Okay, so if I have a quick look at that one, I'll just open up that. So we can actually see here we've got an image tag or image element, our Facebook, which is our image itself. That's the pathway to that image. We've got a height, but there is no alternate text. So ideally, if we would have an alt equals, okay, and Facebook logo. Okay, so we just need a description of that image. Okay, so every single image that you have, it needs an alt tag. Not only is it for alt accessibility, but also consider that these alt tags are actually used in search engines. For search engines, those are the keywords. So don't forget to actually place all of those alternative tags in your website. Okay, so again, that's cropped up a couple of places. So we've got here image source, image source, image source. Okay, so you just need to actually work through that and actually fix those errors, place it through again, upload it or copy and paste it into that area, and that will you want to actually get these errors down to 0. Doesn't matter about the warnings, it's the errors that we're actually looking at. So that there is the HTML. That's when you actually look at your markup. So the next thing you want to do is actually check your CSS. See that your CSS is all good. So you run that through again, a validator, W3C validator, and there's the link to it there. If you just Google it, you'll actually see that in there. So let's actually have a look and open it up. Okay, so this is similar to the HTML, but you can see at the top, which is not showing on the screen, unfortunately, the HTML, the CSS validation. Okay, so let's actually do a file upload again. Let's do a browse. Okay, so you do need a CSS, so let's actually open up this one. I've got a style here. I'll upload that one. Okay, so do a check. Okay, so here we've actually got 2 errors that are actually highlighted in this particular validations section. So let's actually have a look at them. Okay. Okay. So here I think what is actually coming through is that there's a an error. We're using a border, okay, as 0 in regards to that. So it's not liking that. Some browsers actually render things a little bit differently, okay. So we have to actually include, for instance, it depends on what kind of browser is rendering it. So remember, we have our WebKit and we have our Moz. Okay, every kind of rendering machine actually will handle those borders differently. Okay, so it's just a matter of going through and making those changes in regards to that. So that's the same with your CSS. So the next thing that we actually have to look at is our accessibility. Okay, so the accessibility, we have two options. We have Wave, which we can actually check. With Wave, if we use that particular evaluation tool, it needs to be on a server. Ad Checker, you can actually copy and paste the markup directly into Ad Checker, so it doesn't need to be on the server. When we talk about accessibility, we're looking at the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines 2.0. So there's more information about that. Just go to, if you just Google WCAG 2.0, it will actually tell you what those accessibility guidelines are. For any government department, all the websites should actually be AA rated. Okay, so I'll quickly show you the WebAIM, the Wave, but we'll actually do an Ad Checker. Okay, so let's actually look at the Wave. Okay, so this is the Wave evaluation tool. As I said, it does need to be up on a server, so you do need to place it, place a URL in there. Okay, so that's that option. The other option is a AC Checker, is to use that. That you can actually do a file upload, or you can actually paste it directly into there. So let's do a file upload. Actually no, let's do a paste. So let's actually select that tab. Let's actually copy all of that. Okay, just copy, and let's actually paste that into there. I think I'm missing a closing HTML, so let's do a check. What you have to remember as well, I'm using the same markup that I used to check the HTML, so I haven't actually changed the errors, so we'll have the same errors. So for an example here, it's showing the report. Okay, so we've got here, we've got a non-text content, so it's missing the alt attribute. So it's just a matter of working your way through, and with the accessibility, so we've actually set it to level AA, okay, but the first level is the missing a alt attribute. So you need to go in there and actually include all the alts in regards to that. So work your way through it. So that's Ad Checker. So the next thing that we need to actually check, so choose accessibility. The last one is load impact. So we need to know the load times of our website. I always look at, if we've got a heavy, a website heavy in images, then we want to actually see what load, how long it will take to download those images. Load impact does that. Also, it will actually check, it's an evaluation tool that will check the load statistics of that. This one needs to be on a server, so you do need to put it up on a server to actually get that. So the link there is https://loadimpact.com. So let's open up that, and okay, so what you get is this. Okay, so we can run a free test. The load it has is 25 virtual users in 5 minutes, and actually checks the metrics on that. So you do need to actually place your URL in this, so I'm going to place the Polytechnic one just as an example. Okay, we can actually run a free test. At the moment it's creating the test, so you just need to give it time to check. Okay, it will give you some statistics. What you need to actually do is actually have a look at those statistics, take a screen dump of that, and that's part of your assessment that you can actually. So with all of these validation, you need to actually just take a screen dump of your 0 errors in your HTML validator or your CSS validator. Okay, and we can actually see it's still running its test, so it will take quite a bit long. Okay, so just give it time to run through that and take a screen dump of it when it's finished. Okay, so that's what you need to actually do in part C of your assessment, is actually through the testing and the validation. Okay, thank you.